Okay, so let's get right to it because a lot of you have been writing in curious about what happened to some of those individuals who stormed the Capitol. Well, we're going to tell you exactly what happened to them. Okay, so let's take a look. We have a number of them. We have here, first up is this guy who's being deemed on social media as lectern guy. There he is, carrying Speaker Nancy Pelosi's lectern. He's facing several charges, including theft of government property. Well, he was also released on $25,000 bail. Next up, this horrifying image of a man carrying zip ties in the Senate chamber. He was charged yesterday with 2 felonies. Another man seen carrying zip ties. Well, guess what? He is reportedly a retired Air Force lieutenant colonel. He was also arrested after his ex-wife called the FBI to ID him. Then there's this guy, nicknamed Fur Guy, who you may have seen in this furry outfit roaming the Capitol. Turns out he's the son of a Brooklyn Supreme Court judge. He was arrested by federal agents today for allegedly stealing a police riot shield and bulletproof vest. The horn guy, who wore a Viking-inspired costume, has also been arrested and is in custody. His mom is very worried about him because he hasn't eaten in 3 days. Here's what she told local news crew.
He needs to eat organic. He has not eaten, and he needs to eat. He hasn't eaten since Friday. And he gets very sick if he doesn't eat organic food, literally. Will get physically sick.
Boo-hoo, okay? Cry me a river. Are you serious? So the question is, what should happen to these people who stormed the Capitol? And are you worried this could happen again during the inauguration? I also just want to call it what it is, because that's what we do here on this show. I know, Al, that, many of us on social media nicknaming those people, it comes off very comical. This is not comical. If that was black or brown people dressed that way, or Muslims, we would be having a very different conversation, and I don't think people would be treating it so much as a circus. This is domestic terrorism. What do you think about these people being held accountable? And do you fear any more activity similar to this?
To answer your first question, what should happen to these people? Tori, I don't care. I don't care what happens to these people. I think, again, and it kind of goes to the parking lot patty, permit patty kind of things that you were talking about, Sam. It deflects from the real conversation. We like to talk about stuff we can see. We like to talk about broken windows at the mall and damaged property. How did this happen? I don't care about the lectern. I don't care about horns. If your response to me is not, how did this happen? I want a detailed report about what happened. Why weren't the police staffed? Why weren't they called? That's all I want to know. Let's not get bogged down in nicknaming people and horn guy. Let's not do that.
I hear you very loud and clearly, but I also think optically it's important that we have consequences for those people that were on TV showing their faces maskless, desecrating the Senate. If we didn't, and they're just allowed to fly home, everyone's left wondering. I mean, the guy who stole the lectern, he's up for decades in prison.
As he should be.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. Exactly. I think the FBI has released also, Sam, there's reports that on near January 17th, the inauguration, they have threats of at least of all 50 states, in all 50 capitals, of attacks that they've heard on from social media. This should be taken extraordinarily seriously. I'm very worried about D.C. on the inauguration. I'll just be straight up honest about it. I'm worried.
Erica, what do you think?
Well, I agree with Tori. I do think that we need to care because when we do have these people that we have these monikers for, and of course we do that on social media, one, because it's clickbait, but two, it's also a very important conversation to be had because these are just the aesthetic visions of what the really the erosion of our democracy is. There is a whole underlying layer of people that we should and infiltration that we should really be concerned about. These are just the people that we can see. Keep in mind, the people who came to the Capitol that day represented a multitude of groups. They represented a multitude of intentions. And when I say a multitude of groups, I'm not saying like there were people who were there bird watching. I'm saying that there were different levels and different types of people who were there to do different types of things. If we do not have these conversations and we just sweep it under the rug and we just want to know, and I agree with you, to Al, like, how did this happen? But at the end of the day, we need to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And the way that we do that is by making people being held accountable just as visibly as they did the deed.
And just to clarify my point, I'm not saying that these people don't matter. I'm just saying if we all lived in an apartment building that we paid extra for security and there was a break-in and all of our places were broken into, would we all go, look at the guys on the security camera, where's the woman in the red dress? You'd say, where was security? Where's the, I want answers to that.
I think a federal investigation needs to happen of the infiltration of what happened that day. I think you're absolutely right. Something has been infiltrated in my mind.